in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the management's opening remarks. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Abhishek Mehra from TIL Advisors Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Inba. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining this Q1 and FY25 earnings conference call of Zen Technologies Limited. The results and investor updates have been emailed to you and are also available on the stock exchanges. In case anyone does not have a copy of the same, please do write to us and we'll be happy to send it over to you. Today we'll start the call with a brief overview of the performance and product demonstration, which would then be followed by the Q&A session. As a disclaimer, I would like to remind you all that everything said in this call reflecting any outlook for the future, which can be construed as a forward-looking statement, must be viewed in conjunction with the risks and uncertainty that the company faces. These risks and uncertainties are included, but not limited to what we've mentioned in our annual reports. With that, I'll now hand over the call to Tina Virmani from Motilal Oswal. Over to you, Tina.
Thanks, Abhishek. We welcome the management team of Zen Technologies for Q1 FY25 results con call. We have with us Mr. Ashok Atluri, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Afzal Malkani, CFO, and Ms. Shilpa. So over to you, sir, for your opening remarks, and after that we will open the floor for question and answer.
Thank you, Tina. Hello, fellow shareholders and prospective shareholders. Thank you for joining on the call. I think the results were on the expected lines, and we think we are on track to meet the 900 crore target that we have set for the year of the turnover. And there, as we have been saying in various calls, that on average we expect EBITDA to be around 35% and PAT to be around 25%. So this will keep this may keep varying depending on the product mix and the export and domestic mix. So in exports we have higher margins, and within simulators and counter drone system, simulators have more margins, and within simulators also there is a variance depending on what within training systems and simulators. Also there is different margins for different products. So, but overall, I think we'll be easily able to sustain the 25% PAT that we have been suggesting. Again, our focus has, the two main markets for us have been the training and simulator and counter drone markets. And what we see is that in the initial years, we were very much focused on the technical training aspect of the simulators and training systems, which is basically, makes you a good marksman, but doesn't prepare you for actual war scenes where there is another intelligent being in front of you and he's attacking you, or he or she is attacking you. So that requires something special, some specialized training called the tactical training. Now we see that not only in India, but overseas also, there is a movement towards tactical training simulators, which is actually helping us. And because we think that we are the best in that category. So we see not the tactical training taking over the market requirement. Again, because of this realization post-Ukraine war and as the war is progressing between Ukraine and Russia, we can see that people have come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter, you may have the world's latest equipment, but still if you're not trained, you will lose the thing. So, people are okay with having a little older equipment, but training has become paramount now. That's a big, win for us in the sense that we have been saying the same thing for many decades now. And now people are, the world's armies have come to that conclusion. And with respect, so we expect that this is exploding. The training market is exploding now, and more inquiries are coming from both the Indian customers and the overseas customers, which is very good and very, very heartening for us. Second, the product that we have are the counter drone systems. The demand, again, we see that at every place the drones are playing havoc, and people are looking for systems to neutralize the oncoming drones, and that is where counter drone systems work very effectively. And what we have seen is that the demand, again, the inquiries are accelerating at a very, very healthy pace, and we see that Initially it was mostly soft kill anti-drone system. The inquiries were coming. Now it's moving to hard kill. And fortunately, again, we are in the forefront of hard kill. And we see that we will, again, our target is to lead the market both in soft kill and hard kill. So we have supplied one system, hard kill system now to the Indian Army, but we expect this to really scale up. So when we look at the whole scenario, the two major product segments that the world is actually really thirsting for. One is the training to upgrade their skill set, and second is the threat to neutralize the drones. So we are at the sweet spot, the sweet intersection between both these. And I think we are, the patience of our fellow shareholders is paying off now. In addition, now, recently we launched a few new products, which were from the recent acquisition investment in AI Turing. And we see there is a lot of scope for this product. And what I thought was, even the press release did mention, and we did share the link there. I would like to actually physically show the products once. I just did some informal survey, and there was a lot of interest in seeing the product, products in action. So what I'll do is I'll just take a break, just a few seconds break, and then I'll just walk down to the products and try to show you how the products actually look and how they work. And then again, these products will take some time to generate revenues, but what we see is extremely healthy demand for these products. We have been talking to the armed forces, and one of the products has been demonstrated to them, and they said this is exactly what we want, and nobody has been able to give it. So we look forward to this. It's actually, it started as an extension of anti-drone system, the camera side, but now we see that it's a complete whole market by itself. So we will, as we go ahead into the next few quarters, we will be talking more about it and explaining how the market is panning out for us. So I'll just take a break and I'll start the thing there. Thank you. So this is the product that we had originally. We had it some few months back. We had shown it. This is actually a remote control weapon system, and this could actually fire, the pan, tilt, and fire at the target. But what we found out was that this is so heavy, it's very, very difficult to actually move the system onto the to move the system around. And so so then we went into the new product that we were launching. And excuse me, can you go and wait there? I'll come there. Your chance will come. Go. So we are looking at the remote control weapon station. Now the weight of this compared to the earlier it was 250 kilos, the weight of this is less than 40 kilos. And we think that this is the world's lightest system. And this is again, in a typical combat scenario, the soldier moves through narrow lanes and is behind the weapon. And when he wants to lift it, this is the way they can actually lift and go and place it. Otherwise, for a typical weapon system, you would actually require a crane or something like that. And another advantage is you can use the remote, the joystick and the ruggedized display to fire at the weapon. So this will help to move the thing and fire. Again, how do we save the life of the soldier? That has been our main, keeping the soldier out of the harm's way has been our main focus. So this is another advantage we have. So this, again, this has been integrated. This can be integrated with our anti-drone system, and the radar can give the cue and it can automatically fire. And it can also be used by any soldier who's going on a reconnaissance duty to go and check the thing, and it can also be used for firing the weapon. Now this is the ultralight. This is the Hawkeye, and this camera is the one that we have already supplied to the Indian Army along with the anti-drone system. So this actually was the one we have supplied was the little scaled down version. The Hawkeye, the current one which you are seeing, has a range of 40 kilometers. So that's a very good range. That's for typically for a vehicle. For humans, it's 15 kilometers. But this is something that we feel is having a lot of demand. So this camera has got the mid-wave infrared thermal imaging sensor, CMOS sensor, and laser rangefinder. And this again, in the recent trials, this site we were able to engage a UAV at more than 1 kilometer range with the L70 gun, and we were able to bring down the drone. This good thing about this thing is it can be used as a vehicle for tracking the drone, but also it can be used as a surveillance camera on ships, vehicles, and standalone systems, and even for border surveillance. Next, we move to the rugged site. This is our latest innovation, actually. We call it Durgam, the rugged site. And this is designed specially for armored and artillery forces. The gunners and commanders' site in tank and artillery system need to be very rugged and capable of withstanding shock, heat plumes, and erosive dust. Currently, the Indian Armed Forces are using foreign-made fire control systems and expensive Indian alternative to solve this problem. We have developed Durgam to provide our armed forces with a state-of-the-art indigenous capability while increasing its lethality. This very light camera, which is less than 15 kilos, can withstand the 800G shock for 6 milliseconds and can be submerged underwater. The camera is ready to plug and play and can be integrated with any fire control system of the tanks and artillery. Finally, the robo dog Prahasta, we were very, very enthusiastic about being shown. So this is a force multiplier and protects the soldier and can be used in actual operations. And, if you look at a typical operation like, when 26/11 happened, we had a lot of casualties. So this is a kind of a thing that can actually take out the terrorists, go to the places and take out the terrorists without the soldiers being put into harm's way. So this is AI powered, and it learns as it walking. It sees obstacles, it learns those obstacles, masters it, and then tries to improve it further. And with LiDAR, we are the versions that we are experimenting with include a LiDAR where we can send the robot inside, and we can send the robot inside, and they can map the whole building for the operations that are there. So these are the things. Again, we are trying to integrate it with the 12.7 BMG also. So these are the kind of weapon systems that can be used on the robot in the future. So overall, these are the products, but as there are many others under R&D, but these are the products that we will be launching pretty soon. And, one of them we are already sold. So with this, I'll end the new product introduction, and we'll get into the Q&A mode. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may click on the raise hand icon from the participant tab on your screen. We request participants to restrict their questions to 2 and then return to the queue for more questions. To rejoin the queue, you may click raise hand icon again. We will wait for a moment for the question queue to assemble. We take the first question from the line of Mohit Motwani from Tara Capital. So you may unmute your connection and ask your question now.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. My first question is the anti-drone systems and these new products that you've spoken about. Can you give us a sense of what is the future opportunity you're looking at from a maybe 3 to 5 year perspective, and also what you could have seen in other markets? What is the future of these, and what is the opportunity size for the company? Can you give a broad sense of that?
Again, what in terms of product, what we have done is recently there was a Eurocetri exhibition that we went. Our team went and assessed, and we actually feel that we're in absolute top range in the anti-drone space. And again, coming to the demand side, we think that the demand is increasing. We have earlier indicated that the demand is 10,000 crores for the next 3 to 5 years. But we expect we would be revising that upwards with significantly pretty soon when we get more data. But the demand is very high, not only from India, but even from overseas market. So we think that, we started the R&D at the right time, around 2018-19, we started it. And now we have come to a very, very mature stage. Again, this is a relentlessly R&D product. We have to keep doing R&D because the threats keep emerging, they keep evolving, and the product has to evolve to keep in pace with the threats. I hope I have answered your question, Mohit.
Well, my second question is on the export revenues. I think, if I understood correctly, in the presentation, there were no export revenues, recognized during the quarter. I think in the previous quarter, export revenues. So just want to understand, is it like the execution times are a bit longer on that front, or is there a spillover maybe from this quarter to next quarter?
So the execution is going as per schedule, Mohit, and we expect the next couple of quarters to recognize exports in a major way. So that will maybe become a little heavier than the domestic. But yes, export, there were no revenues during the current quarter, and that is usually expected. So you will have to see the balance between simulators and anti-drone system. In some quarters, anti-drone system may be very dominant, and in some the simulators, in some exports may be very dominant, in some domestic. But overall, it will be in line with the projections that we are given about the required deliveries that we have to make.
Basically, timeline was in line with the expectation. It was not a surprise, right? The line with the complete revenue of 900.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't a surprise, not at all. Yeah.
Okay. And so last question for me, you have mentioned in your presentation, you are looking at some acquisitions. So anything that you can speak about, or maybe the size of the acquisition, or the capability area that you're looking at, or lines that you're looking to add to your portfolio?
So two areas that we are looking at is electronic warfare and training and simulation. These are the two we want to have a more, even though it is inorganic, but the absorption should be easy for us. So we are looking at those two areas. As of now, we haven't definitely, committed to anybody to acquire. But as usual, we are looking around very, very aggressively so that we can increase the attractiveness of our product by creating some kind of synergy with the acquisition.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking my questions.
Thank you, Mohit. Yeah.
Thank you. We take the next question from the line of Amit Dixit from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. And thanks for the opportunity. First of all, congratulations for a very good set of numbers. I have two questions. The first one is on order inflow. So while I understand that order inflow can't be linear in this business, it will be lumpy. And last 3 quarters prior to that, we had a very good order inflow. Just wanted to understand what kind of order inflow we are looking at in this financial year. Some of the major platforms that we can expect in the ensuing quarters. That is the first question.
So, Amit, the order inflow, this question was asked earlier also, and what I have indicated is the fourth quarter will be where we'll get substantial order, but they'll start from the third quarter, the end of third quarter. So this is the order flow that is expected during the year, and we are confident looking at the pipeline that we should get reasonable amount of orders, and we will be able to execute also in the next year. So that is our outlook on the order flow. Next question, Amit.
Yeah, the next question is essentially the 4 platforms that you showed just now, and it was in the press release also. Pretty interesting platforms, and seems you are combining your capabilities into solutions, and they go beyond that actually. You can't classify them as anti-drone, can't classify them as simulators. I mean, they are going into artificial intelligence-based systems. So, and you hinted that you would be providing some more color in the ensuing quarters. Just wanted to understand the broad opportunity, as you have been highlighting that, okay, for simulator, for example, we know that 15,000 crores is the opportunity in next 5 years. If you can let us know a similar number for these kind of platforms, that is the first part. Then the second is what kind of new things we can expect from this particular unit going ahead.
So, again, your intuition is right that, the system is not only about anti-drone systems, so increasing the effectiveness and the attractiveness of the anti-drone system, which will be substantial. But, that, for example, the sights that are there that can be used in artillery and even tanks, etc. So, yes, this is a huge market. Again, I'm not able to really, as we speak, we are looking, this is a substantial, it will be, I personally think that it's going to be a third source of revenue, but I don't want to commit because we did a lot of in-depth review when we were predicting the market for both anti-drone and simulators. But again, it will definitely run into thousands of crores, the market that we are talking about this. And in terms of new things that are expected, we think that it will be in this area there will be some more announcements that way as we go ahead. We have extremely hardworking R&D team working as we speak to build a lot of AI capability into the product so that there is less of human intervention required, less of human law. The humans are taken off our harm's way, and the machines take over the work of wherever there is a danger to human life. So that's the actual agenda.
Okay, I have a couple of more questions, but I'll come back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from the line of Jainam Doshi from Chris Portfolio. Please go ahead. Mr. Jainam Doshi, could you please unmute your microphone and go ahead with your question? There seems to be no response from this line. We will move to our next question. That's from Abhishek Shah of Ambit. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, sir. And again, congratulations on another superb quarter. So I think the question on order flow you've already answered. Just wanted to get a sense in terms of these new products. You mentioned that they were from the recent acquisition. So is there anything else in terms of the pipeline that you're looking at, and can we expect more expansion in this current bucket of products from this acquisition? Also, the QIP funds that were raised, I'm sure that there is still a significant amount of that remaining. So any thoughts on how you're looking at that?
So again, new products, this is it's going to be a third stream of revenue for us in terms of sites and surveillance. And we think this should become, again, we want to carefully come into this field. This is a very established field, unlike anti-drone system and simulators, which were almost greenfield venture and nobody was there and we came in. But in this case, there are players who have been there. But what we have seen is that they've not been able to deliver the system that the customer wants. So we are delivering that system, and we will definitely go deeper, include more software into it, and almost like a Tesla kind of model. We'll keep updating on a regular basis the software. So we are very excited about this. Regarding the second question about the QIP funds, it was an enabling provision that was passed, but no funds have been raised. So the provision stays in place, and as and when the raising happens, we'll keep you informed about it.
That's it from my end. Thank you so much, and good luck for the future.
Thank you, Abhishek. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from Dipen Vakil of Phillip Capital. Please go ahead. So you may unmute your connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for.
So your connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations on great set of numbers. So my first question is on the lines of your margins, sir. So can you help us understanding your margins in terms of between export and domestic, and also between anti-drone and training as to how your margins move?
So, again, I'll broadly tell you in the sense that, ADS, we talk about, EBITDA of around 30% or so. And in training simulators, we talk about EBITDA of 40% or so. So, on an average, we get about 35% EBITDA margins. And in terms of domestic and international exports, export is a much higher market, and that will depend on the kind of customer that is, is the customer buying a huge number, or what are the risks involved? What are the requirements for maintenance, etc. When we take the kind of product that we have, so we add additional margin that requires us to go out of the country and maintain it. But but we have seen that over a period of time, the export margins are much higher than the domestic markets, very broadly. So I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So, second, I'm sorry I missed your opening remarks. So, have you mentioned any regarding your order pipeline for this year?
No, order pipeline, we have not. We just said that, it will start from the third quarter, and fourth quarter we'll get the bulk of the orders. So that will keep us on track for the, the growth that we have spoken about in the past meetings.
Got it, sir. So this year, our guidance remains intact for about 900 crores of revenue, and for following years
Absolutely,
at around.
yeah.
And for how about your? So you had also mentioned that you have a target of close to around 2,000 crore revenue in next 2 to 3 years. So that also remains intact.
Yeah, that is right. So we have been talking about average CAGR of about 50%. So I think that should get us to 2,000 crores in about 2 years' time. Yeah.
So lastly, on the bit of an explanation part of it. So how do you get orders for training and simulator? I mean, do government places the orders, or is it included in the platform that government places orders with the respective agencies? So how are the budgetary allocation happen that for training and simulators?
So typically what the government has been doing till now is they already have the systems and they're buying training simulators for them. So that is happening as a special allocation. And they also issued a, framework for simulators with mandating the transition to simulator training. So based on that, the conventional training is being discontinued, where we see that, they actually use the actual weapon, there is wear and tear, actual ammo is being fired, ammunition is being fired. So all these things are actually kind of, pushing the government to get away from conventional training to simulator training, and there have been policy initiatives in that direction. And recently, the Terry did a report in which they clearly mentioned that, the positive impact of using simulators over conventional training, where ammunition and actual equipment is used. And in a staggering statistic, they said if you spend as much as 30 crores on simulators over a period of over a period of next 30 years for a particular weapon platform, the savings can be as much as 380 crores. So that's, it's a 12x or a 13x kind of a saving. So it's a no-brainer. Now, till now, it was like, you want to do for just for modernization, but now we can see that the savings forget the carbon footprint, just the ammunition, the logistic saving that is happening is phenomenal. So yes, the government is really, really going towards simulator procurement. And in a recent, recent video that Chief of Army Staff, the just retired Chief of Army Staff, General Manoj Pandey was asked this question that, how fast are the simulators being inducted? And so his response was, it is being inducted and it has just started. So whatever we have got, the orders are just, a fraction of the total demand. And we feel that based on the statement by the Chief of Army Staff, I think it's going to be very, very huge.
Got it, sir. Got it. Thank you so much for answering my questions, and all the best.
Thank you, Dipen. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from Hiral Nandu from Kalpavriksha Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Congratulations
yes,
for the great set of numbers. And today's call was very exciting to see you showing product live on the call. So that was very unique experience we faced. So thank you for that. Just one question, while a couple of questions got already answered earlier. But one question that when we estimate 900 crore for the current year, do we expect any additional revenue from this new product, or that will come in next financial year onwards?
It will start in the next financial year at the earliest, actually. So, this financial year, We don't, by the way, we have something. It is being sold as part of the anti-drone system. So one system we have sold, but we think major sales will happen in the next year onwards. So.
Okay. So that 2,000 crore milestone, what we have thought for next 2 years down the line, does that include this revenue from these 4 products, or that will be additional?
No, it doesn't include. This was not there in the reckoning then, so we will have to add this separately.
Okay, great. So hoping for a next revised growth target from your end in the next couple of quarters.
Let us see. Let us hope for the best. Yeah.
All the best, and thank you.
Thank you, Ahiral. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Harshit Kapadia from Lara Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Very much, Harshit.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. First of all, congratulations for a very strong performance in this quarter. Just a few questions. On the simulation side, I understand you have a very strong market share on the Army side, and you are looking to enter into the other services as well. So have we made any inroads into that? Are we
Sorry, Harshit, I'm losing you.
Mr. Kapadia, sorry to interrupt. Could you repeat the last sentence, please, because we couldn't hear you.
No problem. Is this okay?
Now it's fine.
Hello.
You can repeat your question, please.
Yeah. Sure. So, we understand in the simulation side, we have a very strong market share on the Army side. We have been there for more than 3 decades, and we are now trying to enter into Air Force and Navy. So have we done, do we have a product ready? Are we right now doing an R&D on that? And what kind of size, it could be like we have 10,000 crore for simulation market, majorly for Army. Anything for Air Force and Navy, if you can give color to.
Yeah, so Harshit, so we have been, you're absolutely right on the thing that Army, we are have a dominant market share. With respect to Navy and Air Force, they are our customers. We have sold them various other simulators, the simulators that are used by the Army, and we have a very good relationship with them. And in addition, Air Force, we have also sold anti-drone systems, and they've actually seen the product grow in front of their eyes and meeting extraordinarily demanding requirements. So as the Air Force, as a customer, actually believes in Zen very much, and they floated, they categorized the anti-drone system as an IDDM product. IDDM means it is indigenously designed, developed, and manufactured by Indian company. Till then, they were not willing to classify it as the IDDM product. Once something becomes IDDM, then you have to go and buy from an Indian company, Indian IP-owned company only, and there are 2 companies in that space, which is Zen and Bell. There are no other companies in that space, to my best of my knowledge. So yeah, so to your question, we have the customers, we know the customers, but we haven't done specific products for them, like a flight simulator or a bridge simulator. So that is one area that we are focused on, and we are doing some R&D, and we are looking at collaborations in that space. So we expect that that will be definitely happening in the next few quarters, definitely.
Okay, great to hear. Any size, if you have already, done your study, if you can share something that this could be the opportunity size for us that we can enter. And right now it's all imported, right? If my sense is right.
Majority of them is imported, and very, very little is done by India, especially Air Force, everything is imported. So, but I think there are some players who are coming into this field, and I would not be surprised that if there are some Indian players also. But with respect to the size, again, I would be just hazarding a guess. But again, it runs, especially for the Air Force, it runs into thousands of crores, and Navy also, it's a huge market coming up, especially because of the demand that the threats that are being faced by in the ocean going ships and especially naval ships. So I think that there's a huge demand for both Air Force and Navy simulators also.
Understood, sir. The second question is, there has been a thought that every product which is developed by our armed forces also needs to have a simulator when they are delivering it. is it a correct understanding that going forward, any new product which is developed by the armed forces, a simulator will be a must thing and which will give a tie-up? So you have to probably tie up with, let's say, the OEM and then also be part of the simulation, and then you will deliver your simulator. Is that a correct understanding?
So yeah, I think that is a fair understanding that, in some of the orders, the products they are asking that it should be supplied along with the simulator, and but not in all the cases, but most of the cases. But I think it will progressively move towards your simulator. So they may ask the same. Again, what we see is that OEMs can be, are extraordinarily good at making the product. But when they always partner with somebody else to do the simulator. And because of the complexity involved in not only making of the simulator, because simulator is not just a mechanical but there's a lot of software, mechanical and electronics in it. And then after even if your product works, it really doesn't matter, because what will happen is your product has to work for 10 years. That means to say, if I supply the system today, so, somebody may say, listen, I can make the product. Even if you make, then what happens? We have seen that in multiple cases where, some competition accidentally wins a product. Then what happens is that they don't sustain in that market. Why don't they sustain? Because the product that they have supplied has to be maintained for next 10 to 15 years, depending on the life of the product. And in this, typically, because these are electronic products, after 3 years, the system, the display fails. And when the display fails, they say, we need to change they send us, they say, okay, change the graphics card. When we change the graphics card, the, motherboard doesn't fit, the graphics card doesn't fit in the motherboard. And when we change the motherboard, the old operating system doesn't work. They say, upgrade the Windows operating system. We upgrade the Windows operating, then our app doesn't work on that. So we have to rewrite the app. So the people who are bidding, they should know that, the team that has developed this 3 years, 5 years back should be able to rewrite the code for the new operating system, even after 5 years. So, this is typically a very, very specialized job. And when we especially in the overseas market, they say, boss, do you have a track record for maintaining this 10 years? So, so this is a very specialized market, and the experienced buyer like to go with, experienced simulator manufacturers. So yes, to your question, yes, we are also tying up with OEMs as we speak to deliver whenever they are being asked to deliver a simulator along with that. Even for export market, we are doing the tie-up. So yes, that is another thing that we are fully focused on.
Nicely explained by you, sir. Similarly, if you can also help me with understanding the counter drone system, what is the edge where Zen has over other players? This is a place where a lot of competition is entering. So what is Zen's edge over the others?
So, we last year when these tenders were floated, then the government is again, very, very focused on buying Indian, and but by more than buying Indian is buying Indian with indigenous IP ownership. So when you talk about indigenous ownership of IP, you mean to say that they are going to actually, this was actually when the tender came for one of the thing, the questions came from other guys. There are a lot of people who came for that pre-bid meeting, and the question was asked by them, what do you mean by IP? So, I will say that I own the IP, I may collaborate with someone and say, then they very specifically mentioned, listen, we are going to compile your software, go through your software, compile it. We are going to test it for various things. For example, we will ask you to identify and track a drone, we'll fly the drone on a particular frequency. And then we'll say, okay, now rewrite the code so that it is not identified. It's a friendly drone, don't show it on the thing. And then we'll check your PCB Gerber files. We'll see your mechanical drawings, both the CAD drawings and the exploded SolidWorks drawings. So when all this came, so then finally what we had only 2 people who actually came for the trials. There were some 12 people initially, more than 12 actually. And when the people, they said, this is the way we are going to do, they said, okay, there only 2 people came. So two organizations participated in that. So the point here is that nobody has invested the required R&D done the required R&D to develop the own indigenous system. And again, what we are saying is, when we recently went to Eurosatory and saw what is the thing being offered by others, they are pathetically under prepared for actual kind of counter drone operations. So we think we are definitely at the absolute top of the ring in this, and this indigenous completely again. And the key components of any anti-drone systems are the following: the detector, which detects, and the radar, which again helping in the detection, then the camera, and then the radar, and then the command and control system. Now we are one of the few companies that own all the IP in all these 5 of them. Thanks to the recent acquisition, UTS did the actual major part of that, which is the anti-drone system, jammer, detector, radar, and the command and control system. Now the camera was not available. The camera is also available. Now with this remote control, so for the hard kill, we needed something as a remote control weapon station. That is also developed, which we developed, it was a very high, 250 kilos. Now we have reduced it to 40 kilos. Actually, man can actually carry it, use it for an anti-drone, along with the anti-drone system, or by itself it can use. Again, the multiple option. So we think that in counter drone, we are really, really far ahead in the thing. But again, we let us wait for the more tenders to come, and we'll see if there are any surprises.
Understood, sir. Fair enough. And just continuing on the on the QIP that you propose, whatever the amount that you raise, will this be used for acquisition? Will it be used only in simulation or counter drone? Can you give us some color? What is it that you will be wanting the use of these funds towards?
So I mean, maybe premature to do that, but again, primarily the part of it may be used in acquisitions, and we are also looking the kind of scaling that is happening with the sales. Also, we may require some for the working capital also, and again, we are looking at doing some serious R&D in the some high level R&D for simulators and anti-drone systems. So these will be the major headings, but let us cross the bridge when it comes.
Fair enough, sir. Wishing you all the best for all your targets. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Harshit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Ashish Soni from Family Office. Please go ahead.
You develop some new products, so does it improve our market size, whatever you developed recently in last 1 or 2 quarters?
Sorry, Ashish, I missed the question. Come again.
So you recently did a press release for some of the products, right? I think I'll just read that. I think Hawkeye anti-drone system. Barbie.
Yeah, Ashish. Yeah, I know. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So does it improve our market size in any way? And do you see any potential revenue coming in this year or next year for this?
So we are already one of the products we already sold along with our anti-drone system, but we do think that the next year onwards there will be a contribution, incremental contribution to our sales through these products.
Okay. But any market size wise, does it like improve the micro side, or it's like subset of whatever market size you already had?
No. This is of course we are going deeper with our product. For example, this product can be integrated with anti-drone systems, but there is the additional revenue stream that is being generated with these sites and remote control weapon station, the dog, etc. Yeah, so it will be additional income for us.
And I think
to your question, can you estimate the size of the market? We don't have the exact figures. We are doing some R&D on that. As it becomes clearer, we'll definitely share the market size also. But it runs into thousands of crores.
Okay. And regarding order book, any specific reason it's coming only in Q3, Q4 because of tenders or something else? I think you said.
No, we have been saying from the beginning. In fact, last third quarter on last Q3 of the last year itself, we have started saying that next year orders will be predominantly in the Q3 and Q4. In fact, they'll be very heavy in the Q4. Starting in Q3 is what our expectation is. So typically this will be the regular way of getting the orders when, if the last year there was some emergency procurement, so we got orders a little scattered across various quarters. But the regular way of orders is typically based on the fourth quarter.
Any ramp up in exports you are seeing? Because I think I've been hearing that it will go up substantially, sort of thing, from few quarters. So any indications on that export market?
So we are, we are really talking to some big customers and we are getting a lot of support from the Indian government. So something happens, it will be very big. But in the meantime, we do expect some smaller orders to come. But let us cross our fingers and wait for a couple of quarters. I think there will be some very good news in that regard.
Okay, sir. Thanks and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Rajamohan Vaikuntaraman. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. And congratulations on the phenomenal results. Also, thank you for a uniquely explosive presentation at the start, which is quite unique because in none of the calls do we have this kind of a direct presentation that happens on the products. My questions were largely related to the order book. On order book, you had indicated to around 1,200 to 1,300 crores of order inflow by the third and fourth quarter. This was in the previous earnings call. On completing one quarter, after you indicated to this target, is our clarity stronger on we attaining to the target of that 1,200 to 1,300 crores?
Yeah, it is. We are on track with that. Our ear to the ground and our interaction with the customer. This looks absolutely in target and on time kind of inflow that we are expecting.
Okay, as a continuation to that, and my more important question, based on the huge demand for simulators as well as anti-drone, would it be fair to expect our year-on-year growth in order book over the next 3 to 5 years to resemble a linear trajectory of, say, 300 to 400 crores incremental over the order inflow of the previous year? Or is there an inflection angle and order inflow could have a J curve, as you indicated too in your opening remarks, to explosion and demand? So broadly, some guidance on order inflow over the next 3 years on an approximate basis, because basically this year you have guided us to 900 crores. Next year, 50% will be 1,350 crores. So that based on the orders that come in this year of 1,200, 300 crores additional, we would have a leftover orders of about 350 crores. So then to achieve from 1,350 crores of sales in FY26 to 2,000 crores, we need a huge order inflow. So will there be an inflection angle? And based on the exciting trends that are happening within the company as well as in the ecosystem as such, do we see an inflection in order book by, say, FY26?
Very frankly, I think that there are going to be really some pleasant black swan positive events for us. And while this linear projection of 50% CAGR is something that we feel reasonably confident about, and but with ears to the ground, I think somehow Indian defense market is completely on a different trajectory, where government, which has been buying forever from outside from foreign markets, has suddenly realized that there is so much of skills internally available that we need to do that. That is one thing. And the second thing is that at the export markets, when we are going and talking to customers, they are flabbergasted at the skill sets that we have. For example, I don't know whether I mentioned before, last November, there was a ITSEC, a defense exhibition, simulation defense exhibition in Orlando. That's the world's largest simulation exhibition. We went there and we had a stall there. One of the guys, because there the army comes and actually pleads with the customer, pleads with the people who have stalls. Can you develop this for us? Can you develop this for us? This is what we have in future for our requirement. One of the requirements what they were talking was a containerized tank simulator. Their question was, can you show us a containerized tank simulator so that, can you develop a containerized tank simulator for us? Because that is there in our next 5-year budget. So, Mr. Kishore, who was there with the thing, he said, are you containerized as in, in a container, you want to fit it? Yeah, he said, we want to transport it and wherever the troops move, we want to train them. But because tank simulators are so big, they're always stationed and, routed to the ground. So then Kishore connected to the simulator center. And he said, listen, this is a tank simulator. He actually showed a tank simulator in a container. And he said the Indian armed forces are using them for the past more than a decade. So they were flabbergasted. They said, listen, this is exactly what we want and, want you to develop. And the second point they were flabbergasted about was about they said, what is the time now in India? We said it's around 2 a.m. And he said, your team is still working at 2 a.m. So our team actually works 24/X if there is a requirement. That's the greatness of our team. So, so we were actually kind of really, really shocked that, they were talking about something which we have developed a long time back ago. And second thing was the reassurance that, our team is second to none and these guys can really, really, actually they were kind of flabbergasted that, somebody can work at 2 a.m. just to show demonstrations. So I think we are really in the export market also, we are really, really big in that. So again, to come to your point, we do expect some pleasant surprises, but we very frankly are not able to put a finger, but you get a feel about that with your ear to the ground.
Thank you very much, sir. And I think we need to salute you with a thanks for all the efforts you're taking. And thank you very much and best wishes.
Rajman, thank you so much. Really appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from Srinivas Koganti, an individual investor. Please go ahead. So you may unmute your mic and ask your question. Mr. Srinivas Koganti, you may unmute your connection and ask your question. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. There seems to be no response from this line. We will therefore move to our next participant. That's Sanjay K, an individual investor. Please unmute your microphone and ask your question.
Hi, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, Mr. Atluri, it's a congratulations on great set of numbers and really impressive demonstration there. So my question is about, you have guided about 900 crore revenue for this financial year. In Q1, we already crossed 250 plus 57, and Q4 is generally is a stronger quarter. So are we saying that Q2 and Q3 is going to be smaller than Q1 to cross 900 or?
Sanjay, don't get into the quarterly guessing game. Just stick to the yearly projection only. Please, I am telling you, you'll be very unhappy investor. I know a lot of investors who have jumped out of Zen because one quarter went here, there. Even though I'm very positive about the next few quarters, but what I'm saying is just look at the macro picture in this case. And, and don't try to be extra. I mean, I know you're trying to be microscopically intelligent, but this has really not served our investors at all. So all the investors that are there in Zen are there because they really believe that Zen is a big story. They develop the IP, they own the IP, and they are playing a big role in India's indigenization efforts. I don't want to sound very arrogant or anything like that. Very frankly, we don't play the quarterly games and we don't know how to play it also. We will just report good or bad to you as it is. Again, we are saying two things, that yearly revenue will be about 900 crores and we are expecting a PAT of 25% on that. So we stick to that, but I will not, I not try to say that you are right or wrong about your predictions.
Sure, I understand. I just want to get the idea because I was expecting definitely that you may revise it definitely more than 1,000 crore. But yeah, it may take some time as you have more clarity on the business, maybe in next quarter or so.
So last time we predicted 450 and we reached only 430 crores. Be careful about that. Mindful about that.
No, definitely. And the second point is about, in the presentation, it's mentioned about AMC of 261 crore and export revenue of 437 crore to be consumed for, remain to be consumed. So all this revenue, how much of AMC will be consumed for this financial year, or it will be go into next financial year as well?
So typically you can divide it by 5, between 5, little more than 5 perhaps, and 40 to 50 crores is recognized during the year. And I think exports, most of the order may be executed. I think the whole of the export may be executed during the year.
Yeah, that's right. My last question is about about the Goa facility. Is it the work is already started? When is this facility going to be functional?
So it's still in the blueprint stage. We are just designing the buildings, etc. And that will take some time. In fact, the access roads still have to be made by the government. So we are just requesting them to hasten the work so that we can start our work as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from Mr. V. Aditya Ravindran from Sovilo Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Please go ahead.
So my question is, okay, I had a good look at the products, but on a components level, how much of this is indigenized and how much of this is imported? Because I'm just trying to understand how susceptible you are to, say, any supply chain shocks. And if, say, the relationships soar between, the countries from where you're importing, especially something like as niche as your camera modules, the lenses and things like that.
So, again, what I can say very broadly is that, most of the software, the components, even in our simulator, when we look at the hardware part of it, most of the hardware would be like, a motherboard or a graphics card or, this is mostly commercial off the shelf available. So they are not very, very technical or something like that. But the software that is developed over that is what adds value to the product. So similarly, we think that there is the software element, the AI part of recognizing objects, tracking them, moving it, the engine design, the way it moves, the design to make it so lightweight. That is the IP that we own. But again, to your question, if Taiwan is taken over by China, will it impact us? It will definitely impact us. It will impact us significantly. Even though, we are actually, as we speak, we are trying to get away from at least developing alternate designs where suppose the Taiwan is taken over, can we do so? As of now, we are still struggling with that solution. But the point is, if the TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductors Manufacturing Company is taken over by, stops working, what will happen? We think the most of the world system will come to a standstill, but still we are trying to find some alternate solutions to that. Yes, but again, we'll always try to maintain the bill of material as very minimal at a minimal level, and the IP content, the software content will be significant for us. So that thing will continue to be there.
So, I'm just asking this as a follow-on because how vulnerable you'll be to any malicious actors? Like, for example, would it be easy for somebody to, track your supply chain and then say, with some malicious intent like say some kind of a backdoor entry, which would say in a real world, real war-like scenario, render the product useless. How vulnerable are we to that?
So, one thing is that the systems that we are supplying, the vulnerability, some component is not available. Let us say, this has exactly happened to us during COVID, where with the product that we designed, some component disappeared from the market for whatever reason. So, if the people who are paying very high premiums, so whatever could be manufactured with high margins were manufactured, low margins item disappeared from the market. So what happened was we came back to the drawing board and we redesigned the boards with the available things. Because we bought something for testing, will this work? It worked. And when we went to manufacturing, the thing that we had tested with disappeared again. So we had to go back to this drawing board 2 or 3 times to actually. So because the software, the heart of the system is with us, we are able to rewrite the software to accommodate any disappearance of any component. So to your question, whether a bad actor can actually, I don't know what you have in mind, but will it, if he stops something or he does something, again, we can rewrite the software and do it. We don't think that we are dependent on any one vendor in such a way that they can really, harm us in our ability to supply. And again, when we supply our goods, the Indian Army is the world's toughest army, by the way. The Indian Army, you just cannot supply something which is one rung lower than acceptable limits. So, and this is the reason why we are able to sell abroad also. The first question they ask is, have you sold to the Indian Army? We say yes. They say, okay, fine, let us talk there. So yes, I hope I have answered your question, Aditya.
Yeah, I mean, partly you answered. The part which I was looking about is not just a procurement. It's also like, say, suppose you get a system which is tampered with. It may work fine, but then because of the presence of a backdoor, eventually in a war-like scenario, they can render it useless. From that point of view, like how do you? Are there any safeguards you adopt to ensure that, like in a real-world scenario, you are safeguarded, like, you have a fence and there is, no scope.
So, I don't know how you will activate, suppose you want to activate a malware, you should be connected to the internet or something like that. That's what my understanding is. So typically they are completely air-gapped, these systems. They don't have connection to the internet or anything. And even if they have internet connection, even if they are part of a network, those networks are not connected to the internet. So they are completely air. I don't understand how they will be activated, but this will be a thing. But to your question, we do enough, input, output checking, all kind of tests we put to ensure that there is no malware. But to your question, is there any possibility, remote possibility? I don't think there is any remote possibility given the kind of tests we go through. And by the way, also remember, the Indian Army also tests at the component level to see if there is any malware in the software. So they are very, they have extremely smart people working with them. So these things, I think even if it slips by us, I think even at the army level, these will be filtered and they will be caught. So I think we are on a safe wicket in this area.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we take that as a last question for today. For any other unanswered questions, please reach out to the investor relations team of Zen Technologies. I now hand over to the management for their closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, participants. I really appreciate it. Extremely intelligent set of questions. Always a pleasure to interact with the current and the prospective shareholders of Zen Technologies. And again, I'm fully available. Please reach out to our IR team, ask any questions, and they will be answered. We would be more than happy to answer. I'm very sure there's so many people on the line, and Abhishek, next time onward, we should do a 90-minute call, boss.
Sure.
Over to you, Abhishek and Tina. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Zen Technologies Limited, that concludes today's conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may click on the leave icon to exit the meeting. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, sir, for giving us an opportunity to host you.